gaming, and it was because we were at California Pizza Kitchen.
No, but
We
you
had,
said
like,
there's something
drinks.
else during the day. It was like after the
Yeah, it
time
was
you
like-
would have seen the movie.
It was something about the Padres. Or it was like a random text or something. Yeah.
And it was when I responded with like, I don't remember what it was. It's gonna
Yeah,
drive
I
me
was
nuts
fucking.
now.
I was
Don't
so.
do
Huh?
Don't do that.
All I was doing is.
Oh no, you sent us that shirt or the Padres get craft the what do you call it? 10th inning featured runs coming from pair of sac flies, base loaded, hit by pitch, and 2-run. Like we had a 6-run inning or something like that, and you were like, "This is cool."
Oh no, and extras. We scored a shit ton of runs in extras.
Oh, you sent that to us.
I thought
I didn't even realize
I
that.
thought I sent you guys like. I thought that was the
No,
last.
I didn't even realize you sent that to us. It just popped up and said Brandon.
Because I remember
text.
texting you guys while I was at California Pizza Kitchen. Like I remember sending you guys like that's where I remember getting a text from there, but
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
That's
I mean,
pretty
the
funny.
fucking movie's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, so thoughts, movies? Avengers End Game?
Are we recording?
We're recording now.
Oh. Wait, hold on though.
All right, you want me to stop recording?
No, I don't want you to stop recording, but it's like
You got to
we
segue
have,
into
we
it
have
too.
to we have to say like spoilers ahead or no spoilers ahead. It's like if we're
I think there's a way you can talk about how much you love it without.
But that's what I mean.
spoiling.
If we're gonna not talk
Then
about
again, there's fucking spoilers everywhere on the fucking internet
Yeah.
right now. It's fucking bad. But I don't want to be. I don't want to contribute to that, even though it's probably spoiled for everyone who hasn't.
so then we're not spoiling.
So no spoilers or spoilers?
No spoilers.
Okay.
I'm
No
good with no
spoilers.
spoilers.
So it's amazing. Go
Just-
see the movie.
Just because I don't want to be that. We don't want to be that podcast who's like fucking spoiling it. But we want to hype up the shit out of the movie so that way people.
Okay.
I don't know, but if there's a page that fucking would spoil a movie or a podcast, I would fucking be fucking pissed with them.
Ryan's doing a mark of Brandon's F-bombs. What are we at right now?
Did you just draw random lines?
No, I was counting with my fingers, and I was like, "There's a whiteboard next to me."
Oh man.
We love you, Brandon. We love you.
I was texting Enrique with the All Bad podcast being like, "Hey, where's your guys' podcast at? I thought you guys were going to do an Avengers podcast. You know,
Yeah,
I'm
what
trying
the
to
hell?
listen to it. It's been over a week. I don't know what they're doing. They didn't post it or whatever."
I'll post it.
And we were just like, exchanging texts back and forth. And he goes, "Oh yeah, thanks for cleaning up my brother's potty mouth." And it's like, "Oh yeah, of course, yeah."
There we go.
That's so funny. Oh man. No, but that movie was amazing. Like the perfect ending to a freaking 11-year process.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't have imagined it being better.
And it was I loved how they kind of closed, certain things, or they ended it properly in a way that it was just it was like finishing a good
Not
book.
up for debate. It's like
It was
there's
like finishing a good book. You weren't
Yeah.
like, oh no, they're gonna come out with.
I don't
another
like
one,
when
or
a lot of these movies are doing this thing where there's just an open-ended question. Like if you look back, how The Sopranos ended, where there's a gunshot and then the scene ends. It's like
didn't, and
you're like, well, what the fuck happened?
And then there's one thing, there's no end scene or anything like that, or end credit scene, which I thought was in good taste too.
I know. I made Dean, Sarah, and Shaylee stay there. I was like, I'm not. No. I'm gonna.
Well,
make
apparently
sure.
there's a sound of Thor's hammer or something.
No,
like
it's,
sinking or
it's
or
It's
Iron
Iron Man
Man,
making
or,
the first suit.
Yeah,
is that it?
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah, he's when he's in the cage, clanking the metal.
Yeah. I mean, great movie.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Makes me want to go
movie.
back and watch all of them right now.
It really does.
I'm not kidding. I've watched 2 of them in the last week.
Which ones have you watched?
I watched Guardians and Age of Ultron. Guardians is one of my favorites.
I think it
and-
was. I think Guardians kind of caught everybody by
surprise,
surprise
for
how
sure.
good it was going to be, and you're
Yeah.
like, wow,
Definitely.
I really
remember-
wasn't interested in seeing it when I saw the commercials
either.
for it, and I was like, yeah, whatever.
I totally remember watching Captain America: Winter Soldier, and you're like, dude, this movie looks stupid as hell. I'm like, I don't know, I'll probably watch it,
It was really good.
and
I
it-
loved that movie.
It caught everyone by surprise.
I
and-
really can't say much bad about any of them. Like Iron Man 3 wasn't great. I mean, I'd still rewatch it again, but I wouldn't go out of my way. Like if it was on TV, I'm like, all right, cool, I'll watch this. Like if I was making it I'm gonna watch all 3 Iron Mans. Obviously, you have to finish the 3, but
I think it's just crazy if you go back and watch the older movies, like Iron Man 3 and those kind of like Age of Ultron
Even the first Avengers.
It's just like the production value has changed so much.
Look at Captain America in the first Avengers movie. He looks like he was in like 1980.
Yeah.
Well, he was further back than that. But
No, I meant like his
like-
costume.
I get what you're saying.
Like not the actual character.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be an updated suit, and I was like, oh, not really.
It's not really updated now. His suit now is badass.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. They did good though. They did really good.
They did really good.
Honestly, there's nothing you can nitpick really.
Sets the bar pretty high for the next Star Wars movie though. Just saying.
They're different universes.
I know it's different universes, but they're both Disney,
yeah.
and they're both. I mean, obviously, this is an 11-year journey. But if you think about Star Wars, I mean, the first one came out in
97.
Yeah, so even longer journey here for some fans.
73, I think.
Yeah, it's
like
in the
73
late
or
70s.
Yeah.
I was like 76 or something like that.
Long journey awaited.
In the 1970s.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of pressure there. It's like, hey, this was amazing. They did everything.
They just tied like everything. They tied a nice, neat bow on top of everything, and there's not really one thing I can think of in the movie that was out of like poor taste or something.
That's going to be the difference with Star Wars. I don't think they're going to put a nice, neat bow on it and
well, because they have a lot.
You know, they're going to like they're going to leave
6-year journey.
They're going to leave the key on top of the dresser. You know, they're
for this
like,
for this group, it's a 6-year journey.
It could come back. Yeah.
I will say with Avengers and then Game of Thrones this past weekend, it was like the most stressful weekend of television I've ever had. Like I feel like I was not actually sitting down for most of it.
So were you a fan of the Batter Winterfeld?
Hell yeah.
I don't know. There were some critics in the room.
Yeah, but there's a lot of critics in there. No, this is what I said. I think it was good. But if I hadn't seen Avengers before that set the standard incredibly high for what.
Yeah.
And like if you're ranking them, it's gonna.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I think you can agree that Avengers here and Game of Thrones.
I think that the issue that people are running into is that they're like thinking that this was some sort of like end scene to, you know, a major event, but it's actually a precursor for what's going to happen in the next 3 episodes of Game of Thrones. So, the biggest knocks was as dark as hell.
That was like dark. The first 20 minutes was really dark and hard to see, but it's supposed to be more realistic, you know, like what these guys are actually going through.
And I get that, and HBO's always done a good job of that, so I'm not going to knock them for that. But I mean, that's like been one thing is it's dark. Another thing was like it was an 83-minute battle. So, like, what else did you want to see?
Did you guys see Joey Bosa?
No, I did not. Did not. But there's other battles coming too.
I'm guessing that's going to be
he wasn't in this one.
battle.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not
okay.
sure.
Okay.
There's...
Damn.
But
all I know is that the Dothraki are they're stupid as hell for charging out into the dark night.
Wiped out, man.
I learned how to speak Dothraki from Dwight.
The Office.
Yeah. That's
but it was seriously like the most stressful and I don't really, I mean, if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, I'm sorry, like that's on you.
Cool,
I don't really care about spoiling Game of Thrones as much as
I don't feel personally attacked or anything.
Arya Stark's a fucking badass.
But like I will say, like
dude, she was blowing up the internet. What happened with her?
Dude, it's a better switch than fucking Michael Jordan, man. She had a better switch than Michael Jordan.
I think Blake Griffin had a little comment on that. Did you see that or no?
Yeah. But no, like the way that it was playing out was like this Night King was just like killing everybody, and then when it finally seemed like the odds were getting even again, like he rose everybody from the dead. So everybody that they just killed plus everybody that had died that was fighting for them came back to life. So his army doubled, and they were it's not going to end well. Dude, so at no point,
that's a fucking move, dude.
So
like, think about that. He was like, "Hey, you guys think you're about to beat me?
Yeah.
Checkmate, bitch! Everybody rise up."
Yeah. So literally,
Jon Snow, you're thinking going head like toe to toe
with a freaking like demon dragon. Yeah, like it was bad. So like you didn't think anything was going to happen. You kind of forgot Arya was there, and all of a sudden she pops out of nowhere and goes to stab this dude in the back, and he like turns around and grabs her by the throat, but she drops the knife that she went to stab him with. And she catches it with her other hand and stabs him in the stomach.
Oh, dude, that's a Rey move right there.
It was
she like
dope.
Cuts.
But this is like literally right before they're about to lose.
Yeah.
So if he kills Bran Stark, it's over.
Yeah.
And he's like literally right in front of him.
Bran's like Yoda in this situation.
Yeah. So she killed the Night King.
The Night King.
And he's dead.
He's dead. And the whole army died.
Damn.
Yep. So he's like he's the chess piece. Winter's gone.
Winter's gone.
Winter's done for.
Yeah.
But
So there's a lot of
they
people
still the battle
literally-
for the throne, though.
Yeah.
So literally 6 seasons you've been waiting for
Eight.
Winter.
This was-
eight
This is
seasons.
8 seasons.
So you've been waiting 7 fucking seasons for Winter to come,
Yeah, and it's
And
and
gone.
then Winter's done in
Yeah.
one night.
Yeah. Dude, but
What
like,
is this, San Diego?
But think about it's like you had that one thought of or something.
I didn't. I just thought about it.
But
on the
like the
fly.
thing about this was like the whole like context of Winter is coming is such a small part of like if you watch the show, like the whole thing is the Game of Thrones. Like who's going to be sitting on the Iron Throne?
That's another part of it.
So there was a lot of people that were upset that like, oh, now the bad guy's just gone. It's like there's 6 episodes.
Wait, so like the
the-
Iron Throne is just vacant?
No, Cersei's there.
They're kind of.
She took it. She like
So like just not the Iron Throne is the throne.
That's
yeah,
the one
it's
that everyone wants.
it's
Yeah.
the king or queen of the 7 kingdoms.
Winterfell.
And Winterfell's in the 7 kingdoms, but
Okay.
it's
Winterfell.
not in Winterfell.
He's picking up keywords
Yeah.
and just dropping them.
But no, dude,
I
like
just thought
it
you
was
know,
intense.
battle
But I know
line.
Game
there's
of Thrones jargon.
a lot of people that were upset about it, but it's like that's a small piece into.
Pretty sure Xerxes
like-
is from 300.
But if you think about the first 2
It's the girl
episodes, they
from
were so
300.
slow.
That's what it is.
Like the first 2 episodes were so slow, so it was like you kind of needed some like action.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of build up for this one. There was like the episode before, it was kind of like more giving you that like surreal feel that like holy shit, a bunch of people are about to die.
And there was people
and then
mad.
they killed like 4 guys who were
Yeah, and then like major characters, and they're like, oh, they didn't kill off enough major characters. Like they still have to shoot 3 more episodes. What the hell?
Yeah.
Like you can't kill everybody.
I mean, but it's not being a throner. It seems like a great opportunity to like knock those people off.
They
you know?
knocked off 4 major characters. Well, okay, 1 for sure major character.
Yeah.
Another dude that's been in the show that has had like crazy character
You're talking about
development.
Theon?
Yeah. I wouldn't say he's.
I was really hoping he was going to kill the Night King at the end.
Yeah,
I was
I know.
pulling for that because I thought he was,
yeah,
but
he was fucking going ham on those dead people,
Yeah.
man. He was.
My dad says that I don't know the guy's name, but he has like red hair and a red beard, and he's in love with like the tall
Yeah.
girl.
He's funny. He's
Yeah,
alive.
Yeah, I
he's
like
like he reminds me of you. He's like, is the big woman coming?
That's what he says.
he's like in love with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a girl who's got her hair super cut short, and she's like a badass.
It's
like
Captain
warrior.
Phasma.
Did he die?
No, he's alive.
Okay, cool.
But you know who plays Captain Phasma?
No.
That's the big girl. It's the same person.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna die in this last
I
one.
know, I
though.
did too.
She looked like it was not
Like,
looking.
and that
good
was the
for
other
her.
thing. Like each scene, like they were showing like these major characters like about to die, and it was like, oh my god, like Sam's about to die, Jamie's about to die, Bree's about to die, John's about to die, Daenerys is about to die. You're like, what the fuck?
I was low key
lot of main
hoping
characters.
Sam was gonna die.
I
His
know,
character is annoying the shit out of me.
Yeah,
in
he's
this
pissing
episode.
me off, too.
He's like being a little bitch on the battlefield. I'm like, dude, come on.
Like, get over it.
Yeah,
I was a little bummed out that they killed off what's her name, the little girl though.
yeah, dude. She
was
had
badass,
she had
though.
the most badass death in the show.
This
though.
tiny girl who like she's the ruler of her like house, you know,
Yeah.
and
Well, her uncle passed
her
away
uncle
too.
passed away.
In the episode
Yeah,
too.
and so she's the ruler of her house, and she's this badass little girl. She's probably like 10 years old.
Yeah,
And she kills a giant.
and they're like, oh no, you need
Like
to go.
he's crushing her.
The episode before, they're like, no, you need to go hang out in the crypt with all the other women and children. You know, she's like, no, I want to fight. You know, I gotta protect this. And the entire time, we're like, okay, this girl's a little, like, you know, she's a little badass.
She's a little
you know,
badass.
and her death was.
It was impressive.
Yeah, it was impressive.
It was
'cause
a-
she
killed a giant little girl.
she literally killed a giant.
He was crushing her. Like he grabbed her and it was like you could hear her ribs breaking.
Is that the mountain?
No, it was just a
No,
giant.
it's like
Oh.
not a frost giant. No, I've been watching
Kinda.
too much Marvel.
kind of like a frost giant.
Yeah,
So he was just like a giant for the Night King,
Yeah.
yeah.
and he was like killing her, and then she
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah, he like she like starts screaming and he grabs her and like squishes her like this. And then I forget what she does.
stabbed
like,
him in the eye.
Well, I know she stabs him, but I forget how she like did it. But she caught him off guard. She stabbed him right in the eye, and
It was dope.
Yeah,
was
she
dope.
died from it, but still, it was kind of like she made a big impact.
Yeah.
So we'll see Sunday, man.
All right.
3 more episodes.
Well, I haven't even played the intro yet, so I want to play the intro now.
All right.
Boys, let's get to it.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Lights, camera, action.
What's up, everybody? Three amigos and a podcast. That was a very long intro.
I like how we just
typically
stopped like cold turkey, like from everything. We're like, hey, what's going on? Now we're gonna talk about sports.
Now we got our nerd out of the way.
Sorry.
Did we get it all out of the way?
I doubt it.
Did we really?
Well, we don't want to turn into the all bad podcast, because then what would anybody need to listen to them for?
Well,
Because we'd basically be, we're already the number one sports podcast.
Well, you know what we are. We're
the
the sports division of the All Bad Podcast, according to Philly Phil.
No, they are the pop culture
My
podcast.
brother was telling me that this weekend. He's like, "Yeah, Philly Phil keeps addressing you guys as the sports division of the All Bad
Oh my
Podcast."
god!
We're the parent podcast.
Hey, at least we get our episodes out weekly, guys.
And then Enrique has his 1.5 because he did that because you watched movie podcast. So
And I was on it like half of the episodes.
yeah, it was basically you and him and Jason.
Yeah,
and
me,
Jason was on it
Jason.
for like 3.
And we'll say we got a shout out from Surf Ninjas, one of the actors from it.
I remember that. You were hyped.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Anyways, we like to start off the podcast. How you guys doing?
I feel like we just went over that in the intro.
I think
It's
we're
been-
all doing really well because we just watched a fucking great movie last week.
Great movie.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Avengers End Game, you need to go see it.
ASAP.
Does not feel like 3 hours. Everyone's like, oh, it's 3 hours. It's so long. Doesn't feel like 3 hours.
Don't drink a lot of anything. Me and Dean were like in line. We're like, I really want a beer, but I can't do it.
It's going to make me pee.
Yeah.
I actually liked our seats. So Ryan and I went with our girlfriends and we sat on like the 2-seaters on the side.
Those are the best seats. Those
And
are my
I-
favorite seats in the entire
You don't have to
theater.
sit next to anybody else.
Yeah, I love those
Honestly,
seats.
I was like, maybe I'll get a beer because if I have to pee, I can just go in
Yeah.
a cup right there. No one will see. Like, oh, this will be perfect. It's dark. I'm
Yeah.
by myself. But
Yeah,
no,
it
it
was
All of a
was,
sudden, the person, what the fuck is that?
yeah.
Surround sound? I don't
I don't
see
hear.
any
I don't see
rain.
a waterfall.
Where's the rain?
Fucking
Dude,
when we went to the movie, there was that couple that sat in front of us that came like an hour in, and I was like, dude, they are missing so much.
Just get out.
Don't even
Get
Like,
out.
just leave. Like, I was like, what are you guys even doing here?
Get out.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Like, you're just here to be cool.
Yeah.
You're not here
oh
because
yeah,
you're a
I
fan.
saw End Game, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but the movie, dude, the way everything that happened, I don't want to do any spoilers, but just like
Go see it.
blew my mind.
Go see it.
If
Like from the first scene to the end.
see it.
every Marvel fan's probably, like, all the hardcore Marvel fans have probably already seen it at this point. But
If you have any kind of prediction for the movie, throw it out because you have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
well, and it's. I just feel like I haven't heard the expectations for this movie are sky high, and I haven't heard one person that has said it hasn't surpassed their expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not trying to put it on a pedestal there, but it's a great movie.
Yeah, and Ryan, I actually want to talk to you after the podcast because Ryan is a personal trainer. So if you need any training done, you can, message
Hit me
him,
up.
message us, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, everything. You can connect to him. But I want to get in, Captain America shape just because, saw the movie and it was really good. And,
There you go.
I feel like I want to look like Captain America.
I'm not trying to drop a spoiler there, but
Wait.
Oh, and that's
hold on,
why I
wait
got
for
real
it.
close.
Wait for it.
yeah, you know the joke's
Yep.
coming.
Don't need to say it. We can laugh about it.
Yeah, we're all laughing about it in our heads.
What was the joke?
No spoilers.
No spoilers,
Can't spoil
unless
anything.
you promise to cut it out.
No, you can't spoil anything.
I'll cut this part out. I promise I'll cut this part out. Let me mark it down. Ryan, write down 841. All right, we're back. Write down 1901.
901?
1901.
1901. What?
Are
Those-
you cutting something out in the future?
Or is it
We're in-
1841?
It's 18.
Oh, 18.
Yeah. No, that's the chunk of time I need to cut out so
Gotcha.
that we don't spoil the movie for
Well,
anybody.
you said 841 earlier. So
Oh, that's my fault.
It's all good.
But yeah, besides, Marvel and Game of Thrones.
That was it, man. That's all I had this weekend.
That's all that's going on?
That's it.
I mean, I got a mani-pedi from my girlfriend Dama. That was actually a pretty awesome experience. I've never had one before.
I don't like when people touch my feet.
And my feet feel amazing right now. She did a fantastic job. My nails, they already grew back, but they were good all week.
Dude, honestly, I mean, I've had a few mani-pedis, and I'm a fan.
She used some like callus remover. I took off some of the hair on my toes, but
Can she work on my hands? Because like my calluses are disgusting.
I don't know. It's like a chemical that it was for the feet though, not for
Yeah, the first
hands.
time I ever went and got a pedicure, it was in high school, and it was like, we're playing football, your feet are all messed up. This lady scrubbed off so much dead skin on my feet.
Yeah,
It was incredible.
it
was disgusting.
Your
I was
feet
like,
feel brand new when you're done though. I was
So
walking out, I was
soft.
like, man, I feel like obviously it's a new experience for me, so I can really like feel the difference of
so
before and after. But
did she paint your toenails?
she did not.
Not even like just to be like, hey, I need to do this for the whatever.
No.
What was it? Was it a test or something?
No, she just like basically they have like throughout the week they'll have like certain days that are like free days or whatever, and they could practice their stuff, and they generally practice on one another in the class. And she's allowed to bring people in. She like did her coworker the day before, and man, it's pretty awesome to be honest. Like it made me change the way I thought about it, because I used to just clip the crap out of my nails, and she like filed it down and stuff, and
Did the cuticles and stuff?
did the cuticles, did like buffed it out so they were like nice and smooth
There you
too.
go.
This conversation's fucking terrible.
You'll
You got to take care of yourself, right?
you'll understand when you do it.
I've done it before.
Oh,
I don't like
then-
when people touch my feet ever.
What about your fingers, like your
I don't
hands?
touch my hands. I don't know why people need to touch my hands either.
Yeah, Ryan's not a real intimate touching guy. Not intimate touching, but
Well,
just like
it might have been different because it's my girlfriend versus some random stranger, though. I feel like maybe that's because that wasn't Shaylee who was doing it. It was some lady at a nail salon or something.
I don't know, dude. This one lady massaged my like heel one time, and I swear I fell in love, dude. Like I don't know what she did, but I was just like,
People touch my feet, man. No thanks.
dude, it was a spot on my heel, and no one has ever gotten there before, and it just was like,
Your feet.
You had a
feel
connection?
Your
It-
feet
I
feel
did.
brand new. It's like walking in new shoes for the first time. It just feels like
fine, Ryan. How was your week?
My week was fine.
Just fine.
It was fine.
Anything fun?
No, man.
My week was fun too.
yeah.
I didn't really do much. I just worked on the house. That was about it.
I got a new TV. It was a good
Oh, yeah.
week for me. I had a good week.
You had a good week.
Yeah. The only bummer was the Clippers got eliminated, but that's another story.
All right, yeah, we'll get to NBA in
Yeah.
a little bit. But first off, we'll start off with some NFL. NFL draft was last Thursday. We kind of did our mock drafts, and not going to lie, they were, I mean,
We were definitely wrong, but we even said that. It's like
Nobody's going to be
no
right.
one's
No,
gonna be
it's-
100%,
but I feel like the information that we actually detailed is pretty accurate. Both of you guys said the Giants were going to pick a quarterback.
we all got the first pick of the draft, right?
We did, technically.
How do you guys feel about that pick?
I have mixed opinions. So I like the Kyler Murray going to a coach that he's familiar with, into a new scheme, new system with plenty of weapons to utilize for a young guy. The way in which they handled it, if you were talking about the fact that they traded up to draft Josh Rosen last year, and then the fact that they only got a second-round pick for him, essentially not even really a second-round pick. I mean, the Dolphins traded a lot of picks around, so it's kind of hard to tell what the actual value of it was. But,
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely lost that aspect of it. But they get to start over fresh with a new quarterback, so you can't blame the organization there. Like I said, I mean, I'm not completely sold on Kyler Murray yet. I think he's still got a lot to prove outside of just being an athletic quarterback. The tape on him looks good.
I think the one thing that he has an advantage over, the recent quarterbacks taken, they're like reached for in the first round.
Yeah.
Is that he comes into an organization that has a run game, and that's huge. You need an organization that has a good run game.
Hopefully,
And he's going to have one of the
aligned
best
as well.
wide receivers in the history of the game to learn from. I mean,
Yep.
obviously Larry Fitzgerald's not the player he used to be, but his mind is still there. He's one of the smartest wide receivers out there. So that's what I mean. Like the
too.
situation works perfectly. So if you're gonna bring
He's
in
set
a
up
young
for
guy,
success.
yeah, definitely,
He really is.
definitely.
That dude's dropped, or isn't the number he's made more completed pass than
No,
drops? Isn't that it?
It's tackles. He has more tackles than drop passes.
yeah, you're like, damn.
It's insane, man.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
There
I,
it is.
mean,
He's
I don't know
yeah.
if that's a sign of him having some crappy quarterbacks throwing a lot of picks that he has to make a lot of tackles.
Definitely
or what.
hasn't had a lot of great quarterbacks, but he's had some decent ones. Carson Palmer, Kurt Warner.
Yeah, they were solid, but not
Yeah.
like.
But even still, like even with crappy quarterbacks, he's still
well.
when the ball touches his hands, he's catching it.
Yeah, definitely. No, he's
He
you
never
know,
drops
It's
it.
an amazing there's not a whole lot of rookie quarterbacks that come into situations like that. I mean, how often has a rookie quarterback come in and played with a Hall of Fame wide receiver? I mean, it normally doesn't happen like that. If you have a Hall of Fame wide receiver, you generally have a Hall of Fame quarterback. They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
He's just that that generation of talent, you know.
Yeah, totally. So I mean, mixed opinions on like whether or not it's a good pick, but the situation in which it was handled, I feel like it definitely bit them in the ass because they didn't deal them before. They were thinking they'd get more value as the draft went on, and you realize that teams were not valuing quarterbacks the way that they have in the past.
Well, not only that, but I feel like they needed to make a decision before the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
I think
and
that's
got
what bit him in the ass.
less value back because it was.
And on the reverse
Exactly.
side of that, the Dolphins crushed this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they get now it's a win-win situation because the
if
Dolphins
they believe he's good.
If he ends up being a good quarterback, then next year you're probably drafting in the mid rounds and you don't have to worry about that position. You also don't have to pay him his signing bonus, so you're paying him a couple $1 million a year, which for a quarterback is incredible.
Didn't the Dolphins sign
Tannehill?
not Tannehill, Fitzmagic?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean
like even if he's not ready for day one, you know,
Fitzpatrick's
Fitzpatrick's good for at least 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
And he's a solid veteran who can show him the ropes.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly.
So the other nice part of that too is the Dolphins have the 5th-year option on Rosen because he was a first round pick, so they have 4 years left with him. And if he tanks and they play like crap, there are tons of good quarterbacks coming out next year.
Yep.
So to me,
They're
like they
sitting
didn't
pretty.
give up a first round pick next year, so there's really no fault in them for taking a risk with Rosen at all.
In
I loved
reality,
it.
they got 2 high first round draft picks this year.
Yeah,
from
and-
this draft.
No, totally. And if you think about, what they gave up, like I said, they traded back so much that they really didn't give away anything. They moved back in the draft in order to give away a pick. So you gave up draft selection space, but you didn't give up a pick.
I mean, I got to give some credit to the general manager willing to, if he's not a believer in his quarterback, not being afraid to pull the trigger and bite the bullet and say that, hey, we messed up.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's something to be said about that. I always think that's one of the things I praise AJ Preller about is he screwed up. He's willing to.
How can we fix it?
Yeah, he's like, all right, let's make
think
the right move.
This is definitely a GM that's kind of like on the ropes of like, I have to make the right move here. And if Kyler Murray's the generational talent that they think he's going to be, then you have to pull the trigger. And you can't leave it up for discussion. And you can't keep Rosen on the team. You can't have 2 first-round draft picks on your roster.
Yeah.
You could, but why?
Honestly, I just feel like the GM was handcuffed in this one because everybody hyped up Kyler Murray so much, and media was just surrounding him.
And their new coach has worked with him
because
he recruited him out of high school.
But even if they didn't go, take him first overall, or they traded back or whatever it was, and then Kyler Murray ends up being the generational talent like we say he is, then that guy, you know what I mean? 2 years, he's out of a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
No, you're
just
100% right.
He got handcuffed to that pick, and
Yeah.
hopefully it just works out for him. And
Totally. And like I said, Kyler Murray's going to a really nice situation. David Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, there's some weapons there to utilize.
And I think expectations are pretty low for that ball club. Right?
Definitely. He's not going to be expected to go in there and win right away.
Mhm.
And that's a nice thing for a young quarterback.
Well, what else you got from the draft?
Haskins falls. So I feel like the Redskins got a huge win here with him at 15. It's always nice when a team waits it out, and gets the guy that they want. Not having to move up and trade those valuable assets for either future first-round draft picks or, later picks in the current draft. And Haskins going to be coming out with a chip on his shoulder. The Redskins do a phenomenal job of developing quarterbacks. I feel like it's very underrated. They've had some decent names come out of there. I mean, Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. RG3 was great when he was healthy. And And so they have good weapons. Not to mention the NFC East is always competitive. So if a guy can come in within the first couple of years and, change your offense, you're looking at a division title within the first 2 seasons.
I also like this pick because even though Alex Smith may never come back, he's still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He might come back to play, or, he might be, not come back to play, he might be come back to like suit up or come back to practice, those kind of things. He's still a type of guy that you can learn so much from. He's a true field general. He's safe with the ball. If you can pass that on to a talent like Dwayne Haskins, I think that's huge.
He's got a great mind. I mean, he's more of a conservative quarterback, certainly. But, I mean, sometimes you need somebody who's going to teach the young guy.
And I feel like, Alex Smith has been hindered by head coaches and, offensive coordinators to hold on to the ball and be safe. I think he sees the field well. That's kind of what I'm saying. So
totally.
I like that pick.
Yeah, I like that. I agree too.
The one I'm gonna wait on the Giants till the end because I feel like we're probably gonna talk about that one quite a bit. Brandon called it and I called it. The Raiders totally fucked up.
I thought they were gonna have a way better
life
draft.
of me cannot understand. I mean,
that 4th round pick,
dude.
You go with the DN, whatever. Farrell or whatever.
Yeah, Farrell.
Dude, that was like, what are you doing, man? You have so many other good options out there. Like
3 first-round picks, and this dude would have been there with any of them.
Yeah.
Any of them.
He wasn't even in people's top 100.
No. No.
This guy was...
I think he was like projected on some first-round boards, but not... No, like bad.
Yeah.
And then they drafted a running back in the first round, which is definitely a position of need. They lost Isaiah Crowell yesterday or this morning for the rest of the year.
And
so
Marshawn Lynch retired a couple weeks ago.
I'm hearing Marshawn Lynch is open to returning to the Raiders. That's what I heard.
And for their sake, I hope to God he doesn't.
Yeah.
I really don't, man. I mean, it's not...
It's
not a good look.
You can't keep pulling a Brett Favre, dude. You got to walk away eventually.
Yeah. The Broncos waited out to the second round and they trade up and get Drew Lock. I
had him going there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had him projected in the first round there at number 10. They actually traded out of that pick, which you had predicted, Dean. The Pittsburgh Steelers moved up to grab their guy. They wanted Devin White. They went and got him. Now they're going to pair him with T.J. Watt, and they're going to have a pretty stacked defense in a couple of years.
That's their foundation's defense. And the last few years, they've been kind of a little bit more focused on their offensive side of the ball, which is out of character for them.
Yeah, it's time to reset that.
I really can't say enough about how much I hated the Raiders draft picks, though, man. I literally can't, like...
Let me see.
So we have...
Who else are they? So
the Raiders selections, they picked... sorry, I'm pulling it up on my phone right now. It was their first round pick.
Was that Slelin Farrell, DN.
And then it was Jacobs out of Alabama, which is... He's a fine player, but he never started for them. There's definitely pros and cons to that. It means he's going to have fresh legs.
Yeah.
But it also means that he's never been a workhorse.
Well, I think this pick is different because when Jacobs was in Alabama, he was a goal line type guy or like short yardage type guy. And I think that's what they were kind of thinking. They're like, we need a real ground and pounder, a guy that can run between the tackles and get some yards.
Yeah. The other guy that they drafted was Jonathan Abram. And on paper, this dude is a phenomenal safety. My issue with it is that he's a player that probably would have been great in the early 2000s, but with the way that the game has changed, I mean, the dude was ejected twice last year for helmet-to-helmet hits, and the NFL's not easing up on this whole targeting thing, so bringing a not disciplined player into a team where you've already drafted 2 first-round safeties in the last 4 years, or 2 high-round safeties in the last 4 years, it just shows me that they don't know which direction to start. Like they're panicking. They're going after safer picks on the board, but they're not going after the elusive players. I mean, gosh, there was Josh Allen was available. You traded away your 2 best players, Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack, and you need to replace those. Yeah. You had an opportunity to replace the linebacker position with either Devin White, with Josh Allen, with the other White. I can't remember what his name is. Not the LSU guy, but the other top linebacker. But anyways, there was plenty of opportunity there to at least start to fill that void, and you didn't. So I can't. I could go on all night.
I was really surprised that they didn't go after DK Metcalf because I feel like that's a Raider reach first round pick.
Yeah, but I mean, remember they got Antonio Brown. They wouldn't sign Terrell Williams. Like I feel like wide receivers totally.
But that's a Raider. That's a Raider MO. It's a Raider reach.
It is
you
a
know
total
what I mean?
Raider move, definitely.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. But for
looking at on paper what they need to fill and the holes they needed to fill, that wasn't a need for them. But it was just
it seemed like a typical Raider stupid move.
Yeah, it was just like, how do you not go Josh Jacobs and then DK
if you're gonna go
a couple
stupid,
picks
at
later?
least
Like
go with
you
your
already
usual MO of stupid.
Yeah, you're already so committed to going like these wild picks.
Yeah,
these people that you could easily have picked up way later and get the best player on the board.
You do never know. They might see something that they could utilize their skill set for their
Mayock
scheme.
was a decent NFL draft analysis at best. So I'm not understanding what he saw in this player versus what
that's
the rest
literally
of the,
the
world saw.
only reason is why they drafted Farrell is because I was like, this guy has to fit in their defense in some way that no one else sees.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I can see them taking this pick.
He's got to be a stud. Like he has to be. Like you cannot mess up a 4th overall pick in the draft.
Well, not only a stud, but like he just has to fit the scheme that they want.
Well, no, I just mean from this point on. Like he has to be a stud, or else this. I mean, you traded away everything for draft picks, and your whole point was to revamp your team, and I didn't see it.
And that's the way you do it?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
Loved the Chargers draft. Jerry Tillery out of Notre Dame, big defensive body. I think it's something that they needed, and I know they had a first-round grade on him, so the fact that they got him when they did was great. And then I loved the Nasir Adderley pickup. I mean, you just got rid of Jaleel Adai, who was probably the biggest hole in your defense last year. Love the player. Again, if he would have played in the early 2000s, he'd be an all-pro safety. Game's changed. His style of play isn't this, it doesn't fit with the current NFL style of play. So Adderley's got experience at cornerback and safety, so it allows them to do what they want with
I love those players. I love those guys that can, play both.
Yeah, totally.
You can move. You have so much depth.
And it allows for more flexibility with what you can do with Derwin James. And
well, not only that, but it's like those guys just see the field in a whole different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? They see it in a bumped and run coverage. They see it in a drop 3 zone. Like, you see it in so many different areas. Like, you just see the field, man. So, I agree. Those are good picks.
Yeah. I also loved the Patriots draft picks this year. First round, they went out and got, I'm going to mess up his name, but it's N'Keal Harry. Some people had a second-round grade on him. I actually thought he was a first-round pickup, wide receiver out of Arizona State. He's a perfect scheme fit for the Patriots. Yeah. I mean, every time somebody goes down or somebody gets moved to a different team, they pick and plug, and this is that dude. He's going to make an impact right away. And then down the line, they drafted a quarterback out of Auburn, Jarrett Stidham, who I've been watching since he got to Auburn. Phenomenal quarterback. He's going to learn behind the best quarterback in the game, possibly in the history of the game.
What round did they take him?
They got him late too. It was the 4th round. So I mean,
next Tom Brady.
I mean, they breed quarterbacks, man.
They do.
I mean, everybody wants the next Tom Brady, and so they're like, we'll get the guy that's behind him.
Speaking of, getting a 4th round pick late in the draft, Tom Brady. Did you see Tom Brady tweet out, like, how it's him with his shirt off with, like, pick 199 or whatever it was?
Yeah.
And he's like, did they stop taking these after I got drafted?
Oh, my God. That's so funny.
But, yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that first round pick that they got, that N'Keal Harry guy or whatever from Arizona State. Yeah. He's a big body guy.
I'm sure the Cardinals were super pissed that they took him right in front of their next pick.
But it's like that's kind of a thing that the Patriots have been missing, especially now that Gronk's out. You need a guy that can, because he's a pretty big guy, right?
I think he's small. I'm pretty sure he's a smaller dude.
I thought he was like 6 something.
I'll tell you right now.
Anyway, I feel like he's a pretty big body guy that, can play outside as well as in the slot. You can kind of move him around.
He's 6'2", 228. So I mean, he's a thick dude, but he ain't 6'6".
Yeah, he's not Megatron status, but he's still a pretty big dude.
He's probably big compared to most of their receivers, to be honest with you.
But it's like you can put him outside and have him run fades, or you can bring him in
fast.
and have him
He's
run
fast as hell.
Corners. he's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
So, I think overall, the majority of teams had good drafts. I think that just a few teams
I can name one, and this is the last one I'll save it
had
for.
some shitty drafts.
You're saving it.
Give it to us.
Last week
Give
we
it.
did our mock draft, and you guys both had the Giants taking a quarterback, and I had the Giants not taking a quarterback with their first pick in the first round. They took a quarterback.
But we were both wrong on the quarterback.
They took the
You said
60th
Dwayne Haskins.
Yes.
I said
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock.
They took the 60th best overall player with the 6th pick in the draft,
Well,
which was Daniel Jones out of Duke.
most people are like 10% off, so they got to divide it by 10.
Well, we all know Duke produces the best quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's like it's just a,
Name-
it's a fact.
Did you
Like
say
you-
point guard or quarterback?
Yeah.
Like, you go through the list of greatest quarterbacks, and they're all from Duke.
Duke. It's literally like
You
the
know.
top 5 quarterbacks. All 5 went to Duke.
I hope, dude. I
All
hope,
5 played for Coach K.
dude. I really do hope this guy has a good career. I really do. I mean, I never wish upon any team or any
that
player.
poor guy too.
Dude,
that-
freaking, what's their Gettleman?
Yeah.
Or whatever. That guy's an idiot, dude. Every single Giants fan was pissed. And he's like, well, I went down to the bagel shop, and the guy said it was a great pick. So
Yeah,
I
and
was
he
amazed.
also
It's like,
said that
"What
there
the
was
fuck?"
2 teams that he said there was 2 teams that for sure would have taken him before with the before their 17th pick. And my
Lies.
biggest knock on this is that not only did they keep their 17th pick in the draft, they also traded back up to number 30 in the first round. So they had 3 first-round draft picks. They drafted Dexter Lawrence, tackle out of Clemson, the guy that I wanted to fall to the Chargers. Ultimately, he went number 17 overall. And then they drafted a cornerback, which is another need, but a Georgia player, DeAndre Baker, who was probably, they thought that they weren't going to be able to sneak back up into the late second round because somebody would have taken him.
Yeah.
But again, a player that they reached for. So,
So-
3 times they reached.
He said that 2 teams would have taken him before their next pick at 17. When did Dwayne Haskins go off the board?
Number 15. I know.
So you're saying that this guy is that much better than Dwayne Haskins? Not saying that I'm like a huge fan of Dwayne Haskins, or not saying that he's a terrible quarterback, just saying the fact that those guys, you can't somehow find a happy medium between there and interchange.
So-
Like, you're saying that like those guys are basically the same guy,
Dude,
and you can't wait 2 picks?
you're preaching to the choir here.
No, I know I'm
For
preaching
his-
to the choir. I'm just trying to talk it
Let-
out loud
yeah.
to figure
Let
out
me-
in my head.
The positives. The
Okay.
positives of the player. He has great pocket presence. The negatives. He doesn't have arm strength. So my thing with developing quarterbacks is you look at like the 3 major their pocket presence, their arm strength, and their accuracy. You can't really teach arm strength.
Yeah.
You are who you are at that point. You're 22 years old. Like, you can develop a little bit of arm strength, but we're not talking about if he can throw the ball 60 yards down the field.
Yeah.
We're talking about if he can zip the ball into tight pressure.
Yeah, 20 yards.
Yeah. And he doesn't have the arm strength. So instead of going with a player like Drew Lock or Dwayne Haskins that does have the arm strength, maybe not the same pocket presence, I would argue that they do, because he's playing against Pittsburgh and crappy other ACC teams all year. But anyways, you can't teach the arm strength aspect.
Yeah.
That's there. So now you've traded away I almost said Victor Cruz, Odell Beckham Jr., and now you have decent wide receivers with a quarterback that doesn't have the arm strength to get them the ball. Flabbergasted. I don't know what to say, man. Like, it's not.
Yeah, the only reason I don't like this pick, and I'm not saying that, he like you said, I'm not saying that he does, like, that Gary Bettman sees something that we don't. Obviously, I'm not a scout, but just watching ESPN, I find it hard to be a fan of a player or understand why a team reached for a player when their highlight reel is 3 plays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's my thing. If I watch ESPN and I'm like, they're hyping this guy up, and I see the same 3 plays on a loop, and then the other filler time is him at some QB camp with the Mannings, I'm like, dude, what is this guy bringing to the table?
It sounds like that's the big draw, was that he's really connected with the Mannings.
Dude,
That's kind of the only thing that
that's
makes
literally
sense to
what
me.
I kept hearing.
It's not. It doesn't look good. Like it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. The biggest thing, if you're talking about reaching for a player, you reach for a player at 17. Nobody's going to argue with you in 4 years.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to say anything. You reach for a player
in the top 10.
In the top 10.
Yes.
With a franchise that is struggling, who's playing against the Eagles and the Cowboys twice a year.
Enormous market, too.
Yeah,
and a year that you get rid of a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL.
That's my thing, man. It's all about return on investment. You traded away arguably their top 2 receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
And obviously that wasn't the pick that you got him for, but
he's turned out to be that.
You got this guy at number 6. Like, don't tell me that you couldn't have got him at 17. I don't want to hear that. Because then we would be having the conversation of they drafted Devin White or Josh Allen with the 6th overall pick, and then they got Daniel Jones with the 17th overall pick.
But no one really gives a fuck because
they moved up to 11 or 10 to draft Daniel Jones. Like, all right, so we got our first round pick, and then we got 1B.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Cool.
It's like you won a bunch of money on a scratcher, and then you dump all that money back into buying more scratchers.
And it's just like
you're like, why? You just won all that money with the scratcher. Dude, why are you doing
this?
Like,
it's the same thing. Like the same thing when like Brady Quinn got drafted in the first round, and like, back in the day.
Yeah.
But it was their second first round pick, and it was like, all right, fine. We'll take it.
You had one.
Not a big deal.
You had one that you're cashing out on, and this guy is your backup plan. Yeah. You're like...
No, that was even like Johnny Manziel. When they took him, I thought Justin Gilbert went ahead of him,
Justin Gilbert went ahead,
and then Johnny Manziel even though Manziel busted, but it was like...
Not a big deal. It was a late first-round pick.
Yeah.
Like, in New York, Giants fans are not happy people. Like, you just pissed them all off.
People from New York are hard to please.
Yeah.
Philly, New York. That's just the area.
But overall, I feel like
those fans happy if you can.
Well, plus it's a real sensitive time for New York sports, man. I mean, the Yankees are just going through it.
Yeah.
So
they're still playing well, though.
Yeah, they're still winning. So
no, but it's just like
the way you look at like the freaking Knicks and I mean, like I said, most teams had good drafts. I really liked the Lions sticking with their pick and then going with TJ. I don't know how to say his last name. The tight end out of Iowa, and then the Broncos going back and drafting the other tight end out of Iowa. I mean, there are a lot of solid quality picks.
That's the only thing, too, is just like, dude, how good can tight ends be out of Iowa?
They're good, man. But it's like, they can only feed them corn.
But it's like, what kind of offense are you running over there? You just going wing tees all day?
That dude is just monster.
Jumbo packages all day?
Jumbo.
It was kind of like the same when Arkansas had Felix Jones and Darren McFadden. Like some teams, they're a one-trick pony that year. This team had tight ends. A lot of teams had a first-round grade on the Broncos tight end as well.
Damn. All right, well, let's keep it moving. Let's get into some Padre talk.
Yeah.
Padres, as we talked about last week, had a little road series going on, a little 7-game road series. They went up against the Nationals first, and then
Nationals, and then
the Braves to finish it off.
2 series wins, man.
We talked about it. The Padres on the road, young team. We need to see them win. They came out 4-3 on the road. Mm-hmm. It's perfect, exactly what you want to see.
They let one slip away from their fingers, but other than that,
that was tough.
Can't too argue.
That was tough.
Can't argue too much, but
it's like that's what you want to see, and you also, Brandon, I think you said it. You got to see a blowout, at least one game.
We need this jackass almost jinxed it today,
dude. There's no way they were going to blow it 11.
As soon as you said it, they scored the 2.
Yeah, but you knew there was.
I was gonna say it's gonna be like 11-6 now or something like that, and it's gonna finish like 11-8, and I'm like, that's not a blowout anymore, Brandon.
Yeah. Well, our middle relief is awful right now, and we got to fix that. That's got to definitely be addressed. But we're still winning. We're over 500.
Huge wins, man.
These are tough teams that we just beat.
Eric Hosmer's bat's turning around.
Hosmer turned it on.
Ian Kinsler's turned his bat around the last 2 games. He's got 5 hits over the last 2 games.
It was good to see Will Myers finish off a real cold streaky
0 for 19,
series.
Man.
Yeah, finished out strong today.
Yeah,
that was good.
Machado to get hot again.
Yeah, he's seeing the ball well now though. Like
I've seen some tough hits or tough outs.
He's not striking out as much. He's just, he's putting the ball in play. That's all you can ask for. That one he got a hold of yesterday was a shot.
Yeah, he ripped that.
I think the difference with Machado's demeanor, as in the past, is that now he's surrounded by people that can hit. You know, it's
Yeah.
like he's surrounded by people like Hosmer, who's keeping the bat hot, or he's seeing, Myers start, going through a real slump and then start to hit today. Same with Ian Kinsler. He's surrounded by these guys that it's like, you're not alone.
Yeah.
I think the biggest guy who's been huge for us is,
Say it.
and I know he's
Say
your
it.
boy, Fran Mil
Yes.
Reyes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was just
Fran
gonna bring him up.
Fran Mil Reyes is on a tear, and I
Nobody's
knew
seeing the ball better on that team right
Yeah,
now.
Dude, that
honestly,
guy's so fucking strong.
honestly, this year, man, he is.
He's earning that starting spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Renfro's. I mean,
Yeah.
tough for Renfro right now, man.
The other dude I want to bring up, and I mean, I know I've been back. If you go back and listen to all of our podcasts, I'm so back and forth on this guy. But it's got nothing to do with Hedges himself. Like, his bat has obviously been atrocious this year. But Mejia, dude,
Yes.
That throw out at second.
that's the one thing that he's needed to prove is
Mm-hmm.
not just the strength, because we know he's got the arm strength, but the accuracy behind the plate. And damn it, man.
That was
Not only
on the
that, but-
money in the ninth
Yeah.
inning.
It doesn't get bigger than that, man. I mean,
And the Braves are a good team,
the
man.
throw isn't better than that. I know we were all watching the game, and you
Yeah.
saw that guy take off from first before
Like, he's safe.
He was even going to
I
the
was
plate.
literally about to text you guys, and then you sent the text right before me. I was like, "Holy crap! Did you see that?" Like,
Dude, I'm sitting there watching the TV like
he couldn't have put
I was like, step off. It was
If
like he
it-
had so much
I
time.
know if that ball was thrown an inch to the left or the right, then the guy would have had to swipe and he would have been safe.
Yeah.
I mean, it was put in the only place. And I mean, I know it's one throw, but that's the one thing that Hedges has had above Mejia is his defensive ability. And Mejia has proven his value as a catcher.
Not only that, but Mejia's framing balls so well.
I know the
He-
average
he-
isn't showing it, but that dude strokes.
they're
He
both
has-
struggling with the bat, but
Well, no. I'm saying like
Well, from
behind
catching,
behind the plate, he's
Yeah.
framing the ball well.
Yeah.
Behind the plate,
there's
he
no
has
doubt
so
we
much
got a bright future at
like,
catcher.
Yeah.
so much pitch control. He's really got that like. Cal Quantrill got called up this week. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And Mejia's the guy behind the plate.
Yep.
You got a first time,
Rookie
rookie
pitcher,
call up pitcher, and you throw in, you know what I
Rookie
mean?
catcher.
A rookie catcher. You throw in, you don't
They're
throw in your
showing more
veteran guy.
confidence in Mejia than Hedges. And then I'm not saying like they need to deal Hedges. Hedges probably the most valuable player on our team as far as like, even if he's not the starting catcher, for the next couple of years, how often do you have the best fielding catcher as your backup? I
I'm
mean,
just praying we get a DH, to be honest. But
Same.
if we get that, I feel like that.
but my
cures so
thing
many of
is
our
like,
problems.
even if we do get a DH, do you want Mejia as the DH or do you want Franmil as the DH?
Well, you can interchange them. You don't
I
have
know,
to. You
but
don't
like
have to have
from
a
a
committed.
day-to-day basis is all I mean. Like I
Yeah.
still don't think Hedges is going to get a lot of nods there if Mejia keeps playing as well as he's a catcher because of the bats in the outfield. Like you want
the Padres
run-
love Hedges, man.
Oh, I know they
Yeah.
do.
They love him. I feel like he would be the catcher and Mejia. Not taking anything away from Mejia because I think I agree with you 100%. He's freaking a killer behind the plate.
I mean, there's been a lot of talks where we said like, "Oh, this player needs to get dealt" or something like that. I'm not even remotely saying that about Hedges. Like I said,
I
he's the
don't
most
really wanna
valuable.
I don't
player.
want to make any moves, to be honest.
No.
I
To
just
be
wanna-
honest, yeah, it's a weird feeling sitting
Yeah.
here right now and being like,
Don't trade anybody.
they need to like so and so's getting hot, so this will be good, so they can fill in this role, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And like we've seen it now, like Fernando Tatis just went down with an injury, on the 10-day DL. So it's like you really never know what's going to happen with these players. It's nice to have depth.
Yeah.
It's nice to give players a rest here and there. You know?
I would like us to just write out Luis Urias, to be honest. So
Dude, he's hot as hell right now.
in
Yeah.
AAA, you saw that thing I sent over. He's got
Yeah.
7 home runs in 12 games
Yeah.
in AAA.
He had 5 home runs in 2 days.
Yeah, you're like, dang, dude, he's on a tear. His
So-
bats. I mean, he's not known for power. He's known for contact.
Yeah.
So I called Ryan on my way to work this morning because I was listening to some sports radio, and there was somebody that called in saying, Will Myers is slumping hard. They need to move him down in the lineup. I thought it was a good position to start him off so he sees a lot of fastballs, a lot of
Yeah.
hitter-friendly pitches.
When you're
But
breaking somebody out of a slump, you have to try everything.
yeah,
Mhm.
but Brandon, in your opinion, do you think they should keep with Myers, or do you think it's time to recall Luis Urias?
What do you mean keep with
Myers in the leadoff spot.
Oh, in the
Leadoff,
leadoff
yeah.
spot? I thought you were talking about like dealing Will Myers.
No. Just keep him in the leadoff spot. Or do you think
I mean,
that Urias should be a call up
I
to
think
place?
I don't think you start Urias in the leadoff spot. I think he's got to earn his spot in the leadoff spot. I like Tatis leading off, but obviously he's hurt right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do like Margot leading off.
No.
I don't know.
Can I just tell you why I hate that?
Yeah.
Is that if we're talking about Myers versus Margot, Myers sees more pitches, or just as many pitches as Tatis and Machado does when he's up there. He's a patient hitter.
Yeah.
Margot is so swing happy, and that's not something that you want out of a
agree.
leadoff
He
spot.
is very swing happy, but he needs to learn to be a leadoff hitter because that's where he's going to make his. Like if we're going to keep him, he's got to be a leadoff hitter.
I see him as being more of a number 2 hitter, to be honest with you, because he's good at bunting and he's good with hitting runs. I like that because the speed out of. It keeps you out of double plays if you have a guy batting second that's fast. To me, like the way that the game is changing, the leadoff hitter is kind of the number 2 guy. You want the leadoff guy to see a lot of pitches, but you really ultimately want him to get on base. Whereas your speedy guy that can put the ball in play, isn't going to strike out a ton, is your number 2 hitter. So I agree with you, but I think more
he's got to
earn his spot at the top of the lineup.
And I don't know. I'm not that amazed with Will Myers at leading off. I'm not opposed to it.
It's
but
a fine filler with Tatis.
Honestly, I don't look at somebody on our roster and like, dude, he is our leadoff hitter for the future. Maybe Tatis is that guy. I would probably prefer to have his bat a little further down.
Yeah.
Maybe batting 2. I like Urias is the guy I would ideally like at leadoff.
That's what me and Dean have talked about.
I don't think he's ready for it. I think baseball's such a mental game. I think that's his biggest obstacle right now. And I feel like he gets the call up, and it's not so much that he can't do it, but I feel like he's going up there already kind of with the doubt in his mind that he can't get it done.
Well, I think he's pressing because it's like, well, you guys signed Ian Kinsler, so this is obviously your guy. I have to prove my worth or get sent back down.
So.
That's the only reason why I think that he presses.
Yeah, but like my thing,
he knows he's their second baseman of the future.
My thing with Tatis leading off though is that he turns non-hits into hits.
Yeah,
and he steals bases. Yeah,
yeah. No, I like him right now.
Yeah, obviously somewhere down the line, where his power starts to develop even more, you're gonna want him at more of a 3 through 5 hitter.
Yeah.
But with the way he's playing right now and his ability to get on base, he is definitely somebody that you want in the leadoff spot right now.
No, I definitely agree with you. I'm just saying, while he's hurt,
Will Myers, like I said, he sees more pitches than anybody else.
Yeah,
I do like that. That's one of the things that drives me nuts. I'll see Eric Hosmer's kind of a free swinger too. He swings early in the count. I see.
But that damn team looks at more fastballs than anybody else in the freaking league.
They do, and it's such a fastball happy league now.
Yeah, dude.
Like pitchers are throwing less fastballs now than they have in the past. There's so much junk, so much.
And
our
players are good, hard. Like they're good power. Like they hit the ball well.
It pisses me off too because you look at a fastball like inner third, outer third, and then you swing at a low and outside slider. So then you're down 0-2. And now you got to shorten up and try to put the ball in play.
And you know that he's coming at you with something else.
Like you watch teams like the Yankees, or even like watching the Rays this year, like that they're swinging at the balls that need to be swung at. Like, I really, if I'm a coach, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't care if the pitcher's thrown 2 pitches, and you're the number 3 hitter. If that dude lines up another fastball down the middle of the plate, you're swinging.
You're swinging. You gotta pull the trigger right away.
Because the chances of you getting that pitch again, slim to none. Pitcher's trying to get confidence. He's going up there, he's like, I got two pitches, 2 outs. I'm gonna go lay another one in there, he's gonna take it.
You know who's working the count really well, and local hero, Ty France. I don't know if you guys have noticed any of his at bats.
I was gonna say the biggest.
He works the count really well. Even
his
though
only
it hasn't
downfall
really
is he strikes out a lot.
He's striking out on full counts. So at least he's making these pitchers work. And maybe his numbers won't look. They're not gonna amaze you on paper, but you look at it and you're like, hey, he's still making an impact on the game, even though you can't really see it.
Yeah, he's swinging a pretty decent bat right now. I know he's striking out a lot, but his at bats have been good. Which is nice to see. When a player goes down, next man up, you want him to at least give you something.
Yeah.
Had a nice triple today. I kind of give a little bit more credit to that. It was Acuna out there in center. Or was that?
Yeah, Acuna's in center.
He definitely butchered that ball a couple times in the outfield.
Dude, there was some bad defensive plays by both teams in this series. I know was it game 1 cost us on that awful play. But
There was like 3 errors in that game.
yeah, there was some pretty rough plays today. I don't know if you guys, but obviously if you put up 11 runs, there's probably not the best defense. But yeah, I mean, good to see the bats finally break out because the bats have been struggling big time.
So I wanted to ask you guys, I know the batsman struggling, but starting pitching has been, I don't know, in my opinion, extremely
Way
impressive.
better than expected.
And, you know, they
Lights
called
out,
up,
man.
they're calling it, it's a lot of rookies, you know, a lot of first-time guys. Called up Cal Quantrill this week. He went straight after the Braves, and I thought that was extremely impressive. You know,
I was
didn't hold
way
back.
impressed.
So at this point in the season, if you guys had to reorder the Padres bullpen, what is your
rotation?
rotation. Sorry, reordering their rotation.
Well, I'd definitely go in Paddock 1.
Yes.
I'd probably go Strom 2. And I'd probably go Margavagis 3rd. He's been very, very impressive. And I'm probably putting Lucchesi in 4th and Lauer 5th.
I probably agree all the way. I think Lauer's probably been a little bit better than Lucchesi. Yeah, and I had Lucchesi as our ace going into this year, but
Yeah.
that last game he choked away that 6-run lead. That kind of put a bad taste in my mouth.
His sinker's not sinking.
Yeah,
It doesn't look good.
It's hanging.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
That churve.
But, like, that's a dude that I look at and just... I like him. I like him
so
right
do
now.
I agree.
But
mean,
I just look at the amount of talent that we have in our, farm system, and it's like he ain't going to be around long.
If you're throwing like that,
No,
at least.
not just like that, but it's like if you look at the amount of lefties that we have.
Yeah.
well, he wasn't a highly touted prospect
No.
either. He actually got the call up. He matured really quickly with his pitches, but it just didn't seem like
I liked Quantrill. He looked good. I mean, I know it was his first start. I think
he
he's going
did better in the bigs than he did in the minors.
Yeah, he is going to benefit off of being one of the 2 righties that we have.
Well, he's big fudge,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I thought it was
Yeah.
impressive that he didn't pull his pitches. I thought that was real impressive. You know, it's like you get a call up, you know, kind of mid-season at a position that you've been struggling, you know, or like you were going for a roster spot in spring training that you were kind of battling for. You end up losing it, don't do too good in the minors. You come up and you just don't pull any pitches. Like he really wasn't pulling anything.
Yeah.
I feel like as a rookie pitcher, sometimes you see him late in games.
Well, you
kinda,
saw with the one dude they called up for the one spot start. I can't remember what his name is.
It's
The
like-
righty against.
Not Reyes. It was
Rojas
something.
or something.
Yeah, dude, totally pulling his pitches.
Against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was totally pulling his pitches.
Yeah.
He was really throwing that left shoulder out, hanging everything.
It's hard
So-
for me to say out of obviously Paddock has been the
He's been
best
he's
pitcher.
showing ace stuff.
But
Like,
it's-
Dude,
like,
like
I
his
mean,
glove says,
league-wide.
relentless.
Like
He
league
has
wide,
been.
like that dude is like putting up numbers better than than a lot of pitchers in the league.
Yeah.
But like outside of that, I mean, a 1B nod to like Margavagis and Strom. Like those dudes have been phenomenal. Like
Yes.
I
they're-
kind of thought Strom was going to be where that was at the beginning of the year. His first start was a clunker, and it really disappointed me. But I felt like he was the guy I felt pretty comfortable
his
with.
pitch count's been so low. That's what's been so impressive to
He's
me.
working the
Yeah.
count.
Like he's
And
not
that's the other
throwing a
thing,
lot
too.
of pitches.
Like, I think what was his third start? He went to like the 8th inning.
Yeah.
And every single one of his today he could have gone easily into the 7th.
Yeah,
or 8th.
he just they
They
started
just it was a
getting to
blow,
him.
but it was a blowout.
Yeah.
So it was like
you know
why
what his secret
why
is, right?
His eggs.
A dozen eggs a day.
Eggs a day.
That's
he
his
did put
signature.
on some size, man. The
He
dude-
is. Yeah, he's pretty
Brandon
lanky.
said
though.
Brandon said he could do that. He could eat a dozen fried eggs.
I could do it. I think.
I don't think he could.
I'd throw up.
That's what I said. I was
I
like,
think
dude, you
I
can't
could,
do it.
I think I could do it. Still to this day, I think I could do it.
I have a dozen eggs in the fridge right now.
I think. Well, we already ate. I gotta have an empty stomach. I'm not gonna do it on a.
That's a lot of fat.
All right, dude. We'll
It's a lot. It's a lot of fat.
We'll make it happen.
I'll see you Sunday.
I'll see you Sunday.
I will tell you, man, from doing that keto shit for as long as I did, like eggs are hard to get down in
Yeah,
the masses.
I
they
don't know.
are.
I feel like I could comfortably eat like 6.
Mm.
6.
I think I could comfortably eat 6. Obviously, not eating anything else.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
have like 3. I'm good.
Yeah, that's a lot for me.
Like
But a dozen, obviously, I'm really
I do 6
uncomfortably.
egg whites.
If I
three
did
and,
easy.
three
If
and
I-
some bread.
If
no
I did
problem.
a dozen, obviously I'm gonna be uncomfortably full and it's gonna hurt. But I think I could do it.
All right, we'll have to see. I want to give some love to my Yankees. CC Sabathia getting his 3,000th strikeout. That's I think that's pretty impressive.
Exclusive
He was the
club.
17th overall, the third lefty to do it. First since Randy Johnson. I mean, that's
That's
It's pretty
elite
impressive.
company right
How
there.
about that other team in the AL East?
Which one?
The one that's, they say you can't win a World Series in April, but you could definitely lose one.
They're still not. They're not doing that bad. I mean, they're definitely not doing great, but
They're doing pretty bad.
They're doing pretty bad.
What's the standing right now?
Chris Sale hasn't won a game yet.
yeah, he's gonna get his stuff together. But
0-5 to start the season. That ain't good.
he's definitely. They got to get him up and running. But I have confidence that dude.
They have the
proven.
reverse. They have the opposite record of the Padres right now. So
Yeah, so I mean, they're a win streak away from like being back.
They're
into
definitely playing better, but the biggest issue, the damn Tampa Bay Rays, man.
yeah,
they'll cool off. I think they're overachieving. To be
I hope
honest.
so, dude. Because I do not want to see the Yankees go another year.
They play
going
good
into the
team
wild
ball
card.
though. I mean, the Yankees will turn. They're not healthy. The Yankees.
No,
are
I know they'll
fine.
turn around. I'm just saying I don't want to see another wild card out of
They're
that.
2.5 games back with.
Stan's gonna get called up next week, right?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he is.
Hicks is back.
But I heard Tulowitzki and
Tulo and Miguel
and
Andujar
Andujar.
are down in Single A rehabbing.
but then Tulo got another injury, so it set him back.
Well, it didn't send him. It didn't set him back. It was a calf strain that he had from the previous year. They're not pushing it, so I don't think it set him back.
Ooh, the other fun one. AJ Pollock, he's gonna be hurt for a little while too.
I feel so
Brandon
bad for that
called
guy.
that one.
I feel so bad for that guy, dude.
Hell yeah, I feel bad for the Dodgers too. You missed out on Bryce Harper for this guy.
They should have gone after him. They could have even re-signed. I mean, I noticed a lot of Dodger fans are really. I don't know if they're just salty over Manny Machado, but they're just not down for Manny Machado for some reason.
They started off the year so hot, and I'm looking at their lineup, and I'm like, there's a lot of guys that are playing outside of their freaking mind right now.
Well,
Yeah.
Bellinger's playing on an MVP level right now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
And I
it's
mean,
like-
I don't think he's not going to sustain this much, but I mean, even if he falters back a little bit, he's still a freaking 350 hitter, probably hitting 15 home runs. Like,
yeah, he's going to hit 30-plus home runs this year.
he already got
and-
like 15.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, he'll hit more than
Yeah.
30.
he's going to cool off at some point.
I mean, we're 30 games in right now, and he's already got
Every
he's averaging a home
every
run
player
every
has their
game.
peaks and valleys, so.
I'm just saying 30 home runs is a hell of a lot less than
Well,
I
I'm
was.
saying
all I know-
in the 30 range, but yeah. he
MLB
could be in 40.
shattered the record by like 100 and something home runs of most home runs hit in the opening months, March and April. Than in
I mean, I'm not saying like I'm not
other
really
season.
saying he's going to hit 50 home runs, but he could easily hit
No,
50 home runs.
He could. I'm just saying, like, the ball is different. MLB's got to address that the ball is fucking changed.
Nah, it makes fans happy.
I think it's not.
There's at least, I think the average is like 2.25 home runs per game.
I think guys are just swinging for the fence more now than ever, though, too. So you're seeing less base hits and you're seeing more home runs.
I told you guys about this, the whole like launch angle thing that
Yeah,
the guy was
it's-
talking about on the radio the other
it's
day.
literally that's
It's
what
just
the focus
The
is.
strike zone has changed.
Yeah,
The strike zone used to be from your chest. Like, you were never going to catch up to a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Like, that
Up
was
in
a
the zone.
strike at the chest.
Well, I think hitters' approaches have changed.
No, like so if you think about where the strike zone used to be,
It used to be the letters, right?
Well, like top of the chest,
Yeah.
and you can't launch angle a ball top of the chest, like
And
let
now it's
alone
like
catch
belt
up to it.
almost,
Yeah,
belt to
now
knees.
it's you're literally like your belt to your knees, and that it, like changed the trajectory now.
Yeah.
So you don't have to swing at balls at your chest, meaning you're not lining out to left field or center field. You have an opportunity. So obviously the ball has changed, but I don't think it's as drastic due to the fact that the strike zone has changed. I mean, if you get to golf at everything, it's going to go a lot farther. But you're also going to strike out more and
Yeah.
hit more pop flies, which you're
Yeah.
seeing.
Yeah.
100%. 3 true outcomes. We've been talking about it since the day one of this podcast.
Yeah. Well, let me get into some NHL stuff. We had Chad over. He just wanted to come eat my food, I guess.
Yeah, he just ate your food and left.
Yeah.
That caught me by surprise.
Just the hit and run. Round 2 of the NHL. You know, I said it last week. NHL has been extremely interesting. It's all up for grabs. The Blue Jackets and Boston played tonight. What was the final outcome of that? Because we started a little bit
I remember
earlier.
Boston was up 3-1, I thought. I didn't know if that was the final score.
Yeah, so Boston ended up winning 4-1, so they tie up that series 2-2. I think, I'd love to see the Blue Jackets win this. They're kind of my favorite to win it all now. They get in the passing lane. They have a lot of, stick work. They get everything going. The only thing that they can't do is find the back of the net. So once they do that, it's going to be history. Hurricanes have a 3-0 lead over the Islanders. I just feel like this is a bad matchup for the Islanders because, the Hurricane played a ex-Barry Trotz team in Washington Capitals, and now they're facing Barry Trotz with the Islanders. So
Barry Trotz is running, man.
Clearly,
he's got the runs.
He's got the runs, dude. He's trotting away. Then you have San Jose up 2-1 on Colorado. That game's going on right now. Colorado has a 1-0 lead in the second period, so we'll see how that goes. Then you have St. Louis tied with Dallas 2-2. Dallas is kind of my other favorite to make the Stanley Cup playoff, or finals, Stanley Cup finals, just because they're a veteran team. Also, Sarah got accepted to San Jose for graduate school, so
nice.
Yeah, so kind of got to
Throw
celebrate
that
that.
one in there in the middle of the podcast.
Just right in the middle.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Just throwing it in there. So
Caught me by
Well,
surprise.
congratulations, Sarah.
Yeah.
I know you're not listening.
You're
because
definitely
we're
not
50
listening.
Minutes in.
You're definitely not listening, but congratulations.
So we got to root for them because it looks like she's going to go there. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Also today, Gary Bettman, he is the NHL commissioner, was drawn into court. How they kind of do those whole court appeals so that the different bodies have to address what they're doing for rule changes and player safety. So he was in court today discussing concussions and CTE in the NHL. Kind of, I don't know. I mean, we really haven't gotten into the whole CTE discussion.
We were kind of talking about it off of air one year, like one
We've talked
one week,
about it.
where it was like, you don't really hear it too much in the NHL, and it's really these guys aren't getting too much helmet-to-helmet contact.
Well, the NHL has done a lot to restructure the helmets, and they added a lot of padding. They kind of call penalties if a player loses his helmet, he's got to leave the. You know what I mean? Those kind of things. They really watch out for it. But it's still ongoing. Players get concussions all the time.
Player safety is always going to be in question.
Yeah, Pavelski with the San Jose, he got a major head contusion. He's been out, so it's always something that it's you got to watch out for. But he basically said you take away hits to the head, you take away hits from the NHL. So he's we're not doing anything to change it. We're sticking
occupational
to our guns.
hazard. To be honest, I don't know.
So I mean, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Gary Bettman. I think he's kind of what's his name for the NHL or for the NFL?
Roger Goodell.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Roger Goodell, where it's he doesn't speak up in time. He kind of and then when he
he's
does speak up, it's an
he's
opportune.
Not ahead of it. He's reacting as
Exactly. So, but with this, I mean, I appreciate it. A lot of people are kind of hating him for it, but occupational hazard, like you said, you're gonna play in the NHL, you're gonna get hit, you might suffer concussion. That's part of the job. So if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. And I have no problem with that. I think the NFL should take that same stance.
That's kind of how I feel too with the NHL, or NFL. NHL
I think you should
too,
both talk to my sister about this.
No, but
why she's the opposite end.
Well, I mean, just her field requires her to have a lot more knowledge about it, and as much as people say they do, they don't.
I have no knowledge of it. I'm just saying that it's part of the
helmets.
job.
The helmets don't do anything, and it's just for putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. And and the only way that it changes is if you change the way they play the game, and that doesn't make fans happy. So at the end of the day,
doesn't make players happy either too.
No, I mean I was
just
just bringing
at the end of the day, they're
run,
there
but
for our entertainment.
Yeah,
that's their job. Their job is entertainment.
I was you don't want to play it, don't play it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, it's tough because you want to make things as safe as you can for people, and you want to increase the amount of at least show the efforts that you're trying to put the player's safety, because you're supposed to be looking after their well-being long after they're done playing.
I agree 100% on that. I agree 100% on that. I'm not saying that.
It's a tough situation to be in when you have fans who want to see the same game, but then you have players that want a better well-being. And that's what I mean. When it's a hard argument, because when you sit there and you listen to people's wives of husbands who have passed away because of concussions or things that have happened, it's tough. And
no, I'm not definitely not saying it's not tough.
And even players that are in the league right now that are oh, I don't want things to change, and 10 years from now they're like, yeah, I wish I wouldn't have played hockey, or yeah, I wish I wouldn't have played football. But it's tough. And like you said, the commissioners, like, you have to get out ahead of these things. The more that you try to backfire after the fact, it just shows a panic. And I've always felt that way with Roger Goodell. I don't pay attention to hockey, but if you're saying it's similar, you have to get out in front of it, and you have to show that, like, you know, what you're doing is actually good for the players and not good, and good for the fans. Which, I mean, like I said, it feels like everything they've done is a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. The college protocol for, like, helmet-to-helmet hits and things like that's been perfect. Yeah. And instead of, like, implementing that into the NFL, they sit back and they just kind of...
No, and I totally know what you mean. It's like, from refereeing or calling certain penalties, those are things that you need to change, but...
There's leagues that are doing it right. There's leagues that are doing it right. It just seems like the big ones are the ones that are messing it up.
Well, because there's so much dollar signs involved.
And that's the thing. I think the NHL has handled it perfectly. Like, it came up 7 years ago. They reinstituted their helmet rule. They reinstituted new helmets. Yeah. And, you know, they've taken penalties into a whole new light. So it's like, what more do you want at this point? Like,
and that's
you can't take away the hitting.
And then that's when you get to the point of, you know, if the changes that we've made aren't good enough, you know.
No, and that's the other thing too.
What else do you want us to do?
I think the NFLPA, like you said, definitely needs to come up with some kind of, you know, new agreement with veteran players that we're going to give you some sort of health insurance. In the NHL, they give them a pension, so it's like they give you the tools to, like, survive.
And that's outside of just the helmet. I mean, like, if you look at, like, what concussions are, it's I mean, where the CTEs and things come into play, it's not the concussion; it's the concussion on top of concussion, and you know, at some point, like, you have to address why the concussions are happening, and it's not always helmet to helmet. Sometimes it's helmet to ground, things like that. Yeah. But like you know, like I said, the NFL, it seems to always be playing catch up with it, and whereas you're saying the NHL has gone out in front of it. And like you guys both said, both of them, they're sports where you're hitting people. Unless you're going to abolish the sport, like, you have to meet halfway at some point.
There's
going to be injury, just like fucking gymnasts. Gymnasts are going to hit their heads on the floor. There is risk
in every facet of life. I mean, we work in offices. Like, luckily,
you could drive out in the freaking middle of the street and get hit by a car. I mean, like,
not only that, but luckily, carpal tunnel. Not only that, but it's like, luckily, our places of work are like, you can have a standing desk if you want it. You know what I mean? They give you the tools to be like, hey, listen, sitting for 8 hours a day is not good for you. These are things you can do to change it. If you choose not to do that, that's on you. Yeah. But we're going to allow you to if you want to. Yeah. And I think that's kind of a stance the NFL needs to take of, like, these are the tools that you need to survive. And I don't think they've provided those tools. Nope. But they need to provide the tools, say these are the tools. If you want to continue, this is what this is what it is.
Well, and it also, like, blows my mind that the NFL, like, you know, we're talking about, like, recovering from injury, like, whether it's head injuries or leg injuries, things like that. And then you look at, like, the Chargers have, like, a 8-week stand of away games next year, where it's like, how are you going to recover if you're not home? Yeah. So, like, as much as, like, you say that you're doing it, I mean, you're not. Like I said, college has put their, you know, helmet to helmet contacts to steer away in that direction.
I do like the new policy that they've implemented based on the number of concussions you've had. They have you sit out certain number of games and stuff like that. Yeah, I do like the concussion protocol. I think that's certainly at least a small step in the right direction. Yeah. But I mean, like we've been saying, if you take out the contact from the game,
why play the game?
What are we watching? Mm-hmm, We're not watching this. You see other sports that have a little bit more I think rugby's a little rougher on the body, and yet these guys, they still go out there and do it. You don't ever hear anything about them.
Well, and it's about the money that's invested in it. Like NFL, you hear about it mostly because they generate the most money. NHL, you don't hear about it as much because they don't generate as much, but you'll hear about it because they're there. Rugby, not so much.
Yeah, and plus it's like the difference of you... As a player, you see how big of an industry it is, and you're like, dude, you can't even help me out. Yeah. Rugby, it's like, I'm doing this on my own accolade. Like,
in any sport that you sign up for, like, even when you're a kid, like, you sign a waiver that, you know, like, these are the, like, potential hazards, these are the potential injuries that could happen. So, like, you have to deal with it from that aspect of it.
It's good that people are a little bit more... you know, educated when it comes to it now than they used to back in the day. And I think that was really, you know, a big problem early on. It's really put them Like we were talking about, behind the 8 ball, you're trying to figure it out, and you're
it's
reacting.
Hard to. There's not one definitive answer.
Well, and the other aspect of it too is like with CTEs, like you really don't know when they don't develop till like 10 years later. So I mean, like we really don't know if this is changing because the science on it is relatively new, and you didn't get out in front of it when you should have. So I mean, we could go all night with this. I mean, I totally agree with the aspect where it's like, unless you want to either abolish the game or change it completely, there is risk to playing. Yeah. And the most that we can do is offer health care, for the entire life of these players afterwards, or we can, change the context of the game without changing the overall game. Yeah. Implementing better helmets, implementing better, or like rules and regulations.
Just showing that you're trying.
If you're doing that stuff, then you gather the research, and then all right, what's plan B? Yeah. What can we do next, or how can we improve?
There's so much money in that sport that there's no reason that they couldn't offer these guys healthcare for life. Yeah, that's really the part that's like I feel like it's incredibly selfish by the league. I will say, to donate to all these different organizations and nonprofits and stuff, and you can't afford to take care of the players and give them healthcare for life. Which
donating to organizations is a tax write-off, so it's not actual money to them. Paying out pensions is actual. But the one thing I will say that the NHL needs to do is concussion protocol. Their concussion protocol is completely up to player discretion. Mm-hmm. It's like if a player feels like they need to leave, then they will. But if they don't want to, they have nothing against a team. A team doctor being like, "Hey, nope, pulling you." It's like, "You feeling okay? Yeah, okay."
Yeah, and that's how it used to be too. And I mean, in the NFL is the same thing. And you develop over time. The issue that you run into is people that are out there, bitching about everything, that want to complain about every detail. And if there was one solution for it, it would be fixed in all sports. Yeah. It's not. It's it's the most argued about concept in every single sport is, how to, fix these injuries. And unfortunately, you play a sport that you might get hurt in. So, I mean...
Yeah, there's physical contact. Yeah, they're going to get hurt.
Yeah, so, I mean...
I'm just saying, boxing has been doing it for years.
Yeah, don't tell me those dudes aren't fucked up, though.
You know what I mean? But there's the inherent risk. Yeah. And they know what they're getting into.
Players should be aware of it when they get into it. I mean... Yeah. I mean, when you go into the military and you're going to be in active duty, there's a chance you might die. I mean,
no, absolutely. You sign a contract that says...
PTSD, that's like...
But and that's why I feel like I like that he came out and said, we're not going to take it away because that will end the sport. And this is the sport. If you're going to play it, those are the risks.
I think the other aspect that you have to incorporate into that, though, is we're working on ways to help. Yeah. And that's all you have to say. Like, we're working on ways to help.
And you don't want to sound insensitive, like you don't care about your players, but at the same time,
what else can I do for you?
Like, I gotta take care of... I got to take care of the business side of this, and you know what the risks are when you signed up.
And you're playing.
And if you want to play, you can play. If not,
that's fine.
Yeah,
we're not forcing you to play.
You can walk away.
Yeah. There was like a statistic I was reading. It's like 5% decrease in the amount of high school football players. I'm like, nothing. That means basketball got a little bit better. Yeah, that's all. 5%. I mean, when we start seeing 5% over every year, for the next 10 years, I mean, football might want to rethink. But again, then you're going to lose money. So if that's the trend that we're going to start to see over the next 10 to 20 years, then these sports are going to go away. Yeah, and then we won't have a podcast anymore. We'll talk about Padres.
We'll talk about baseball and the other basketball, the other soft sport, basketball.
Yeah. Hey, easy there.
But you know what I mean? It's like these arguments with people. It's like the companies aren't going away. These are multi-billion-dollar organizations. All they're going to do is they're going to try and find ways to improve it.
The talent would drop, obviously.
But that's what I mean. If it gets to a point where kids really aren't going to start playing football from a young age, and the kids really aren't going to play hockey, then the sports are going to go away. And that's what, as a commissioner, it's like you're not going to get up there and say that. Yeah. You have to make the smart moves for your fans and for your players.
I don't want to sound insensitive, but there's always the next guy. There's always somebody who's willing to do it, and that's that's the real thing. Is it's we have such a competitive society that everyone's competing to make a living, and you can make a great living if you're a successful football player.
Yeah. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the other soft sport and all
Hey,
the floppers,
hey,
we'll go to
easy.
basketball.
I ain't hating on your NHL.
Dude, it's like a bunch of fish out of water over
fucking
there.
hate
Jesus.
watching the NBA,
James Harden's
man.
on the floor every
God.
fucking offensive.
I don't even.
I seriously
Wow,
hate
like-
watching the NBA nowadays, man. I'm sorry.
That's
I-
that's literally. I was trying to explain this to my coworker. That series is such a bad image for the NBA.
Yeah.
It's
And it-
ridiculous.
and it's
both
lit-
sides.
Yes.
And it is literally like the most televised. It
But
is like
It's the
because
two best teams
it's the
in that
most
conference.
popular series. It
Dude,
just
I
looks terrible.
fucking-
Well,
hate
okay.
it.
Let's pull it back because
Okay.
last time
Take
we
over.
were still in round 1 when we finished our podcast last week, and so the Clippers were still alive barely.
Oh, before we start,
'Cause
I would
they-
also like to retract my statement that the Warriors aren't winning this whole thing. They are.
Yeah, I was really upset that the Clippers lost. I put $1 to win 500 on them winning the whole thing.
Dude, they played really good, man. I'm gonna start with the Spurs Nuggets, and I'll kind of get into the Clippers wrapping up that series.
All
But
right, go for it.
Spurs Nuggets, that one was the only matchup in the first round that went 7 games, and it lived up to
Bless
the
you.
billing. Actually, a little bit of drama at the end. The Spurs, LaMarcus Aldridge was supposed to foul. I think it was Gary Harris because clock was out and they were down 4, and he ignored Coach Popovich and getting a little bit of flack there. I'm sure that pissed him off because he basically conceded the game. At least you could have, maybe forced him to make some free throws, and maybe you get lucky, hit some threes, and
Game 7 too,
It's a
right?
different game.
Yeah, it's game 7.
Yeah.
It's literally back against the wall.
It's like
And,
you clearly want to go golf. That's what you want to do.
And it was,
You're ready to go home.
I actually had the Spurs winning that series. That did not come to fruition.
Good for the Nuggets, though, man.
Nuggets earned it, though. The Nuggets were a 2 seed this year. They had the second best record in the Western Conference. And, yeah, good for them. They locked up that series. And then, moving over to the only other game that went 6 in this first round was my Clippers versus the Warriors.
So tragic.
Clippers they battled so hard this whole series. I'm so proud of my team because they literally fought to the very end, and they came out game 6 swinging. They came out and they were up early.
There's going to be a team in Los Angeles with a couple superstars next year, and it is not going to be the Lakers.
Amen to that,
Dude.
I'm hoping.
Hey, that team
I'm hoping you're right.
battled.
I'm really hoping we can re-sign Patrick Beverley because he's a free agent this year. But
I wouldn't be like, I'd be like, oh, maybe we can go get Kawhi Leonard.
yeah, well,
I feel like you'd be okay with not having Patrick Beverley back if you got Kawhi
well,
Leonard.
we'll have space for 2 guys
Yeah.
if we trade Gallinari, but we'll be able to sign Patrick Beverley back too,
Yeah.
assuming Patrick Beverley didn't boost his free agent value this postseason.
Depends on who
but-
they get. If they can get a couple big guys, he'll probably want to stay there.
I mean, if we get Kawhi and we can re-sign the rest of our team, I would be down for that. But we're just lacking a superstar for sure. Yeah, they came out the gate swinging. But the best player in the playoffs right now, Kevin Durant, he just laid it down, man. He put up 50 points in Game 6, and he was just untouchable. He was hitting impossible shot after impossible shot, and it just seemed like, what can you do? Clippers fought to the very end. It was still an entertaining game. Dropped it in 6, but honestly, I think the Rockets are really hoping they didn't play the Clippers in the first round because the Clippers made them bring their A game because now they're coming out and they're up 2-0 on the Rockets after pretty successful homestand. Yeah, I mean, if you're a Houston Rockets fan right now in the second round, you're feeling a little scared because this is kind of the pinnacle of that franchise right now because they went all in on Chris Paul, who's signed to an awful contract for him, and they're in it to win it right now. That guy is going to be getting paid over $40 million.
They might get swept.
I don't know if they're going to get swept. They'll win at least one game. It's looking like a best of 5 though.
Dude, that's what I mean. Like
That's
the way it
yeah.
looks right now, they could get swept.
Well-
that first game was close,
Yeah.
but it wasn't at the same time. I mean,
The Rockets, honestly, I really hope they get swept because I'm fed up with them bitching and whining, to be honest. I mean, the whining to the refs, they're pulling up reports from last year
I
to
saw
file to
that.
the NBA, and I'm like, Dude, you guys sound like such divas right now.
And then vice versa, like, shut up, Draymond Green.
Jeez.
If another team wants to complain, just say,
just let them be the dumbasses and make them look stupid, you know?
just shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, you are the Golden State Warriors. You are the championship contending.
They bitch and whine too.
Yeah, and it's like, just keep your mouth shut and win games.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Like, it pisses me off because it's like, I've always hated the Patriots so much, but I was like, nobody wins and loses with more grace than Belichick and Brady.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's like, be more like them. Just shut your mouth.
If you're looking at dynasties, they're the ones to compare themselves to.
Like, why are you, like, you won 2 games in a row against the second best team in your conference. Mm-hmm. It's looking like you're going to, beat them in 4 or 5 games. Why do you have this conversation? Like, and like we were saying before, it's like, this looks like the worst freaking, like, the worst representation of the NBA right now.
Oh, for sure. It's awful. And I've always said this. I don't think James Harden's ever going to win a championship with his style of play. The guy he doesn't play to put the ball through the hoop. He plays to get to the free throw line. Yeah. And that drives me nuts. I'm like, you can't rely on the refs to blow the whistle for you to win this game.
Well, and that's the
thing.
That
works
in the
well in
playoffs.
the regular season, but it's not going to get it done in the playoffs.
Like, at any level of any sport that you play, you have a halftime, you have something, and it's like, what do? You make an adjustment. They're not calling the foul.
Yeah, they're not calling the foul where you kick your legs out like this. And
so instead of just switching it up and stop doing that because you're not doing it, you flop harder?
Yeah.
But
yeah, and everybody knows in every single major sport, or in every sport, in the playoffs, they bite the whistle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
They're not blowing the little ticky-tack fouls.
You know what I mean? After
like
the first 3, it was like, all right, they're clearly not calling this shit. Like, we got to score. We got to win this game. And it's not like they lost by a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of, trying to get to the free throw line and giving up shots.
They have elite shooters on their team. And it just seems like, all right, get it to the other shooter. Stop going so ISO heavy with James Harden.
Dude, and
they have great. They're putting.
You're
great
losing the
defenders
games
on.
by trying to show up the freaking referees.
Yeah,
like that's what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You're like making a statement. They're like, oh, these guys aren't calling this. It's like, make an adjustment. Put the damn ball in the hoop.
Yeah, no, agree 100%. And
don't flop harder.
Honestly, as a Clippers fan, I was not a huge fan of Chris Paul because he bitches and whines to the refs probably more than any other player in the league.
I was so glad he got touched in the game.
But, he got ejected from one of them, which was another topic, but we don't really need to get into that just because the dude he's a president of the Basketball Association, and he actually made contact with the ref. Probably should have been suspended a game. I didn't really think he should, but, if you're going to uphold a standard, other guys have been suspended for something like that, and he didn't. He just got a fine.
Yeah.
But outside the drama out west, there's Eastern Conference. The first round went pretty smooth. All the teams that I think all of us picked won. The top 4 seeds did. And actually, top 4 seeds out west actually all won too. That's actually insane. But Bucks Celtics are actually tied up right now.
Yeah, Paul Pierce biting his freaking tongue too.
Yeah.
He went out and said that, the series is over.
Yeah, Paul Pierce is an idiot.
He's a jackass.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a Paul Pierce fan. But that's actually going to be a great series. I think that's going 7.
It's a good one. The 76ers went up 2-1 on the Raptors.
Just about to say that. Yeah, the Sixers up on the Raptors, which for me, that's the team I'm rooting for right now is the 76ers because they're essentially the Clippers of East. We gave up like half of our roster of former Clippers on the 76ers. So honestly, it'd be cool. Tobias Harris, huge fan of the dude. Loved him. Sad to see him go. But him and Tobias Harris, Boban Marjanovic, and J.J. Redick, Mike Scott. We were talking about Mike Scott at the beginning of the year. He got
Stanley Hudson.
All former Clippers, all making huge contributions to the 76ers right now, and they're showing it. And obviously, we were talking about Kawhi Leonard. This is another motivation for me to root for the 76ers. If the Raptors get knocked out this early, I think Kawhi is going to be looking. I think he's going to be looking Clippers, man. I mean, if the Raptors go to the finals, honestly, I could see him re-signing with them. But I think if they get knocked out this early, I think why would he want to stay in Canada when he can come back to his home, which is where he originally said he wanted to be?
Lower state taxes.
But that's it for NBA.
All right. Well, I got the stat of the day this week. if you guys are ready for it.
Stat of the day, dabba-dooba-doo, stat of the day, dat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day. Bop.
Let's hear it.
Better not be another fucking question.
I went with the Padres. I went with a recent Padre, a little somebody that we were talking about as a top rotation guy or somebody that's really impressed us. I went with Matt Strahm stat. So Matt Strahm was the
How many
first.
eggs does he eat? No.
How many what?
Said how many eggs does he eat a day?
Yeah. Matt Strahm becomes the first Padre and the first pitcher since Greg Maddux did it in 2007 to go 4 consecutive starts of at least 5 innings pitched without walking a batter.
You
I
listen to
love that.
97.3 The Fan today?
No, I was on Twitter.
That was probably on the 97.3 The Fan Twitter page, but
It
that
was-
is
it
actually a
was-
freaking great stat.
Yeah, I heard that earlier.
I love guys. I love pitchers who have great control of their pitches.
So not only that,
And
but
anytime you're in the same neighborhood as Greg Maddux is great.
if you're mentioned in the same breath as Greg Maddux,
Yeah.
that's an accomplishment. In
not
itself.
only that, but in his last start, Strahm threw a first pitch strike to 21 of 25 batters, and he never had a 3-0 count.
Dang.
Okay.
That's control.
Dang.
Dude,
That's huge.
Yeah, guys who can control their pitches. Nothing drives me more nuts than like a leadoff walk.
Dude, 75% of first strike is a great stat. 84%? Holy shit.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that's next
we
level.
scored on that trade. You know, the Kansas City Royals are beating themselves up for dealing him for. I think we dealt Brandon Maurer and who else did we give him in that?
Exactly.
We gave him some.
Exactly.
we gave-
Open up the trade encyclopedia over
yeah,
there.
ask the White Sox how they feel right now too.
Ooh.
Yeah, God, no. We gave up 2 like crappy pitchers in a year that was like they must have been desperate for a closer at the time because Maurer wasn't even that good for us. And honestly, he's the only bad closer I can think of in my entire lifetime with the Padres.
Yeah,
Like
but
honestly, we always have a great closer lined up one right after the other.
yeah, like we said earlier, he had that first start that was kind of it was
got
pretty
rocked.
rocky.
He got rocked in that first start.
and just to come back with 5 quality starts, high quality starts,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Mhm.
And those freaking Braves, man, you look at top, bottom of their lineup, it is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
They got a
Ozzy
tough lineup.
Albies, and I mean, you have the big 3: Albies, Acuna, and Freddie Freeman. Those are
Shit.
3
Yeah.
elite bats. They're probably all-star caliber, all
Yep.
3 of them.
And you're not
honestly,
pitching around him at all, like
Yeah,
going straight after him. It's pretty
he-
impressive.
Good stuff.
He is impressed big time. I think his ERA's is he sub 3 now?
It's 3.02. He gave up 2 runs
Uh,
today.
They put him over.
I was looking.
They put him just over.
Close.
Hey, still,
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, I mean,
and
Yeah.
Paddock is in the 1s, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he is. I think Chris Paddock's in the 1s right now. Like
Damn, that's impressive.
That's what I was saying. He's showing ace stuff. You know?
Yeah. Well, everybody, we are the 3 Amigos and a Podcast. If you're looking for us, we're on every single type of podcast platform. Find us under 3A. Recommend us to a friend. We're just looking for more listeners.
That's right.
Yeah,
we're nearing the 1 year mark too.
Nearing the 1 year. We're, just a few downloads away from 2,000. So, everybody just, tell somebody.
Download and then delete it and then download it again.
There you go.
Please.
Yeah.
Just do it like 12 times each.
Hack the system.
Hack the system.
But yeah, like Brandon said, we're coming up on 1 year, so stay tuned for where we're going to be, trying to do something big. We're going to get Enrique to come out and film it for us, so it'll be a whole big event.
nice.
That's right. In the All Bad podcast.
There we go. All right, everybody. We will see you next week.
The movie division of the 3 Amigo podcast.
Yeah. All right, later.
See ya.
Later.